Season 4 of Ranked Play just dropped and they severely nerfed the MPC-25. So today I got you guys the new best build so you can climb the ranks. And after I give you the build, we're going to be breaking down Havoc's gameplay. Is one of the best players in the entire game. So if you want to get a little bit better, make sure you stay tuned for that. So for the class, so you guys can see that we can't use the long barrel anymore, which I think is a good thing. Let me know in the comments if you're happy with that. They try to make it super close to the CDL, which in the Pro League, it is banned to use the long barrel. So that's why we only can use the bull velocity barrel. Now, it doesn't really mean that you should use a barrel. So I'll give you a variation. There's about 2 to 3 very good builds out there. This first one, though, is going to have the bull velocity barrel. Then for the underbarrel, you guys can see that the flow guard is going to be gone. That one I'm pretty annoyed with. It makes sense because it's got to be close to the Pro League, but I just love moving around so fast on the map. Now, though, we are going to be adding this zero shift hand stop. This can increase a lot of the aiming stability, so now it's not going to really sway. So in a way, you actually have more recoil control than you do with the flow guard, but that flow guard, allowed you to move around so fast. We also do get a pretty big boost to the horizontal recoil control, so the gun is going to be very easy to use at long range, especially when we go over to the fire mod and we add the recoil springs. Now, if you are pretty good at the game or you're very warmed up, you could consider using the overpressure. There's still a lot of pro players that still prefer the recoil sync unit since, yes, it only gives you 5%, but it is noticeable. Really does make the weapon a lot easier to use at long range. But that overpressured rounds, you guys can see, doesn't really do too much for that close damage range, but a lot for that medium to far damage range. Also increase the hit scan potential up to about 36 meters, and so it's going to feel like you're playing on that very low ping. Without it, you'll have hit scan up to around like 30 meters, which is still super good. Like, it doesn't really matter too much. It's not going to be that important anyways, so I wouldn't tweak over it. Like, if you're losing, it's usually because of you, not because of the class. Then for the rear grip, we are going to be adding the photonic. Before, we did have the quick draw in here, which they took it out, but that's because the gun just felt like it was killing too fast, since your ADS speed actually correlates to your true sprint to fire speed, since you typically don't fire the gun until your ADS. Like, you're not sliding into the gunfight firing before your ADS. And so if you have a very fast ADS speed, it actually makes it so like it feels like it kills the weapon. You can kill a little bit faster. Bro, I can't speak at all. So now it's going to be feeling a little bit slower, but our slide to fire speed is going to be better. So that is one benefit of this build over, having that quick draw grip. Then lastly, for this first build, we are going to be going over to the stock, and we are going to be adding the pedal stock, increasing the overall strafe speed by 23%, making yourself a very difficult target to hit. So I will take a screenshot of this class. By the way, do you want everything in Black Ops 7, including iridescent rank? Then you should definitely check out my long-term sponsor, Guapsi. This is a team of real people who will grind your account to unlock literally anything that you want. This goes from maxing out your weapon, unlocking any camo, hitting iridescent, doing any challenge that you don't want to do. And I've never seen a single negative review in the 4 years I've worked with them. So if you want to get anything in the game risk-free, doesn't break too west, make sure you check out Guapsi. I'll have their link down below. For the next build, we are going to be going over to the fire mods. We're going to be adding the overpressured rounds, which right now we have 780 meters per second of bolt velocity with the gun. That's not that good at damage range, and so it's very OD. You don't need that much, so we're going to be taking off the barrel. Then for the magazine, we are going to be adding the 30 round fast mag, or you can add the 40 round fast mag. So maybe if you're on a map like Den where you're not in as many gunfights, you want to use the 30 round mag so you can reload a little bit faster. But on Colossus, you want to use the 40 round mag, so then you don't have to worry about reloading. And so either way, they're both going to be super good. Use whichever one you want. The only downside of this one is that there's a little bit more recoil. It's a tiny bit tougher to use, but you can reload faster, you get extra ammo. If you want that recoil control, literally just go over here, add the recoil springs. Only downside with this one is that you have slightly less bolt velocity than the people who are using this, but in a way, this weapon's statistically going to be better up close. And for the last build that I see people rocking, this one is if you're pretty good at the game, you don't need any recoil control, you can rock the quick step foregrip. So then you have a little bit of a better, you have more strafe speed. You also can shoulder corners a little bit faster, so the enemies are going to have a harder time seeing you, and you can kind of get that information a little bit faster for your team. And it's just going to feel super light. It's just like, it's a little bit too crazy for me, and there's a little bit of recoil in the weapon to you kind of have to run the recoil springs just to get that nice somewhat balance in there. But definitely try out this one right here. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. And then just for a little bonus build for the people who aren't the best at the game, I recommend actually trying out the Medusa stock. You're not going to have as much strafe speed, which does suck, but compare that up with the zero shift, and you're going to have so much recoil control on your weapon to where you don't really need the recoil springs. You can have the overpressured on there. And so now, yes, your strafe speed isn't as good, but you can easily use the weapon up to 50 meters, which if you're warmed up, you can do that without the Medusa stock as well. So I would just recommend getting better at the game, but this isn't, you know, a bad build. This one's pretty fun. For the rest of the class, we're just rocking the Jagger. Again, there's not going to be any attachments on there. Trophies, the mute field is super good. Assault pack, it shouldn't be in there, but assault pack also very, very overpowered. You can't overclock. For the stuns, you know, smokes are good for S&D, obviously. I like the frags, and you'll see a lot of better players using the frags because you can time exactly when they blow up. They got a bigger blast radius than the Semtex, and so if you use them correctly, you'll notice yourself getting a lot more kills. And then the fast hands with the flatjack is what the pros use, or they use tech mask on there. It is very overpowered and banned in the pro league to use tech mask with the flat jacket. So if you want to be scummy, you can do so, but you know, I didn't tell you to use that. And the lightweight also pretty good if you don't really care about the ninja too much. You can pair that up with the mute field, and so then you still have that silence occasionally, but then you can move around a little bit faster. Or you can do, you know, for your perk read, you got the lightweight on there, and with the tech mask, dexterity, and then your ninja, and then, you know, probably add the trophy system. But there's a lot of things that you can do. It doesn't really matter too much. It's all personal preference. And again, if you're dying a lot, it's not the class, it's usually you. Yo, we got Havoc over here, one of the #1 players in the world. He wasn't #1 last season, but the previous season, I'm pretty sure he was #1. This motherfucker's the best. He's playing against the #1 console player. And keep in mind, this is right before the updates, so not using the same build I just gave you, but his opponent actually is, because he's following the GAs, using the competitive rules. Havoc is using the strong long barrel. That's exactly why it was banned, bro. Is that it just does so much damage. It's a better AR than the ARs in the game, which honestly is nice to see though, because the Dravik was it was good, but like you'd see a lot of M15s, and it was just see a little bit more variety. I feel like the game gives you a lot more dope. I do wish we could use the DS20. That AR is dog shit, but I want to see variety. Like, why can't we use horrible ARs and horrible SMGs? We need that. It would make the game a lot more fun. Like a Model for 2 ranked, and I think it was even a Model for 3 ranked. We could use a lot of the horrible weapons in ranked. Even actually in Black Ops 6, where you had the PP Bison, like, but it would make the game so much more enjoyable. So I'm gonna try to kind of break down what he's doing. My whole job on my Twitch is just to spectate people. If you haven't seen my second channel, CBS 2.0, promise you'll like it. I do a lot of videos, like I've done a video with Kismets, did one with Dashy the other day, so I do a lot of collabs and things. Anyways, so they got the new hill, obviously. They're just playing slow. Paulo's super good player. He plays with my attorneys a lot. See right there, bro. Like, you got players fucking jumping up and hitting all these side angles that, like, they gotta predict that and be able to maybe pre-fire those angles. Like, a big thing that separates these players compared to like you, if you're not like iridescent, is that they pre-fire so many things because they already kind of know where you're gonna be at. They just pre-fire everything. And they have these little angles that you just never really think of, that you gotta, I would really find a player that, like, if you kind of play like Havoc where you're super aggressive, then I would watch him and try to mimic his play style in the game, given he's doing things that you can't do and he has a better reaction time, most, you know. But just try to really find a pro player that you like and copy them. So right here, his teammates are already in the hill. His teammates are kind of blocking. Even he doesn't know where the enemies are at, because his enemies aren't, I mean, his teammates aren't really pushed up, so enemies are unknown. So that's why he's playing a little bit slower, letting them move first, and then he catches them on like a side swipe or something.
Kind of obvious that I'm hitting this though, so they should pick it up.
Because the whole side of the map is open, New Hill is going to be open. That's why I said it's obvious that he's pushing through there. Havoc knew they're going to be on the right because Havoc was on the left, so the enemies aren't going to spawn by him. They're going to be spawning the opposite side. Unless his teammates are blocking that spawn, then the enemies got to spawn somewhere else.
Beautiful. Dead, last guy.
And so a lot of these players, they just know where everyone's spawning. And once you get it down, it's pretty easy. It's always opposites. Like, if your whole team is bottom left, enemies are spawning top right. If your whole team is on the top and the bottom, the enemies are spawning on the right. So it's just the opposite of wherever the majority of where your teammates are at. And there's always going to be two of them typically. Like, that guy was waiting for Havoc to push up because he knows there's always a trade. And bro, he's making these top 250s look dog shit, bro. Given they're probably using the GA build and he's using, you know, the long barrel in his gun, but
this is good.
he knows they're spawning. They should be spawning over here. Yeah, see, he doesn't really know where they're spawning too much, so that's why he popped up the minimap. Because it's like right here, the minimap on this game is like so zoomed in that you can't really get that much information unless your teammates are calming where you're at. Then that's why comms are super important, obviously. Oh, so over here, this gets a little bit confusing because they're both blocking these two spawns. So the enemies could spawn down here or spawn up here. So that's why his teammates are looking over here. He's looking over here, and they'll call it out wherever they see the enemy spawn. But they shouldn't be. They could even spawn over here, but this guy's probably blocking it a little bit where they're more likely to spawn back here or over here.
Yeah. You should wrap me here.
Okay, so they spawn on the right. There's some things that, like, if there was one enemy, like if we go back over here and there was the enemy
This is insanely good.
alive, you'll see in a second.
Blue. Are we blocked?
Like, say when they were all right here and there's an enemy that was alive and then he recently died over here, then they would spawn by that guy. And so there's some things that you just,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I didn't explain that in the best way.
You
But
should wrap me here.
Behind me again. Oh my god.
see, he's just playing slow, passive. Look at that little angle, bro. Copy these things. Like that little fucking line there, that,
Get out of this.
like, that helps. Makes it so it's a little bit harder for the enemies to see you. They might even lose aim assist on you. See, how does he, like, he knows because it's like obvious? Well, he sees on the minimap that someone was just shooting their gun, and then he has a good reaction time. The minimap too, you can see exactly. They're looking at that. Like, you think you look at the minimap, I promise you, you don't. And the kill feed, they're remembering who's alive and who's dead. And they have the timings down of like, oh, Havoc died 3 seconds ago. Based off where his teammates are, he should be over here at this time.
Hit that guy. On the top.
I think Havoc would have lost that if he didn't have the long barrel.
Get in here.
See, this is what I'm saying about the nades, bro. They all just use a bunch of nades because it has a bigger blast radius and you can like time it and blow it up in their face.
We killed painting. Last guy dead. We're dead. We have
Yeah, like, yeah, you're out of the play for a second, but if you can get a good,
section.
if you can get a good nade off, then it, you know, it's
I
worth it.
just lay here.
Like, you don't gotta just keep on playing aggressive, you know, keep on going. Like, you can play slow and it helps out your team a bunch.
We actually play this across today. No, we don't. I have a cruise for new, so like, we play this, you know, like.
See, he's playing slow. He's not just running out there. A lot of players, including myself, will just keep on moving and moving and moving, but you'll see him, he stops and he waits. Plays passion. He digests the map. He gets the information. He knows based off where his teammates are. There's an enemy over there. And then, you know what? There's an enemy over there.
Just murdered my entire team. Nice. The break, worth the flip, I think, to be honest.
Bro, I would hate that to play against people with the long barrel, bro. That shit's so OP, but like, I'm sad that the long barrel's gone, but it makes sense. So you could, and like the iron sights felt better too. Obviously, he's just pre-farming because he just knows where the enemies are most likely going to be. Paying attention to the minimap. Like, Call of Duty is genuinely super simple. Like, there's a big skill gap, but there's not really. He's ripping.
Yeah.
Ripping them. That's crazy, bro. That's the long barrel in action. That's why I got banned, bro. That's literally why it got banned. You can use the Semtexes to also funnel people because they're probably not going to run through that doorway, so you can throw it there and then look at the next, you know, most likely area that he's going to be at.
Punch shot.
And then over here on the minimap, you can see he's looking. He's like, okay, there's one dude climbing upstairs. There's a dude in the front. So he's going to kill the dude in the front, and then immediately, without even knowing, or without even looking for the enemy, he's just going to pre-fire behind him because he sees the arrow. I don't think he looked necessarily. It probably would have been better if he kept laying down, turned around, looked at the stairs, and pre-fired, because his teammate's already looking at the front. He's got his other one looking on the left. So that actually would have been a better play than chowing this guy. I don't think he looked at his radar right then. But if he did look at his radar, he wins it.
Yeah, they're even like inclined to hit it. Oh, we almost did it though. So there's only two that can be really in the play right now. And one of them is going to be blocking the plane spawn, so he's probably playing heady. I need to wait for my team to get a kill, and then I can activate here. He just won't look at it anymore if they get a kill. Boom, he turns. Here we go. We kill the guy mid-gut. There he is.
No, yep.
Just like
Yep,
you
yep,
said.
yep. It's just, bro, the map is open. Like, if we go back over here, bro. You go back over here. Whole map is open. They're in the back. Oh, he's spawning in the middle, so that means there's probably an enemy in plane spawning him there. And you'll kind of pick up on it. You'll watch, and he said this, so like when you're playing the game and you spawn over here and you kind of see the similar setup, know that there's probably an enemy watching the plane. Given in the lower ranks, it's a little bit harder to pick up on those things just because the enemies are like in a way so bad that they're unpredictable. In the upper lobbies, it's like things are predictable, but it's just who's making the best play off to predict, you know. Yeah, if that makes sense. Well, anyway, so now he knows that the enemies are waiting for him because it's been so open that someone's sitting there watching, trying to pick up this whole area of the map because everyone has their own role. So that's why he's waiting for the guy to turn around.
My team to get a kill, and then I can activate here. He just won't look at it.
It's just being very unpredictable. And this is what it comes down to, like the better players, is that yes, it's predictable that he's here, but like, can you predict when he's gonna turn around, and can the other enemy predict when Havoc's gonna be pushing through?
We go. We kill the guy mid-cut.
Because they're looking for Havoc. They see that his teammates died, and they're like, yo, Havoc hasn't died for a long time. Where is he? Maybe he's, you know, and then they maybe should have kept on watching this. But if he keeps watching this, bro, then the middle's open, so then it gets a little bit iffy. And that guy turns around. He's like, damn, bro, I just looked away. So that's where the COD timing comes into play. That was insane. Over here, he sees that the enemy spawned out. He realizes that 2 enemies spawned in probably 2 seconds ago. They should probably be about plane now. I guarantee you. Let's see. I think he pre-fires this too. Oh no, he sees it. Okay, but a lot of even better players will pre-fire that.
Yeah, we just chill here.
Playing the little cruddies, the creddies. Unpredictable.
Time for my team to get off spawn. Gotta kill.
Like really, you could watch this and go into a private match and just practice what he's doing and sit in those little spots and just get used to it. You just got to build the muscle memory. Like if you're just spamming ranked, you're gonna build muscle memory of like the wrong plays. But if you can play ranked, watch your footage back, improve, and just try to build good muscle memory, then that will help you a lot more than just spamming ranked over and over. Like that was such a good play. He knows that he's over there. He's played enough to where he knows if he shoots through this line, the enemy's probably going to be on the other side. It seems complicated, but kind of like once you get used to it, you're fine. Like speaking a language is complicated, but we do it so often that it's natural now.
He's dead. They should spawn in front of me here. Good cut, never mind. Teammate has it. We can do this late on slide ago. One actually spawned out.
He just got bad timing on there.
And Cove up there. Pick up our pin.
Sees the right's open. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna push this with my teammate. Now, his teammates should probably recognize that, or if Havoc had his mic on in game, he'd be like, yo, dude's one shot top red, then the dude would run over there, like his teammate would run over there, pick up the kill. But now that guy top red is still alive, so it's gonna be a little bit tough to take over this, and he dies because of that. So if he just need to comment to his teammate, but
he could get it.
he's streaming and things, and sometimes it's like, you know, I don't even want to call, bro.
Like, need to get near. Holy fuck, we lost. We do.
Boom.
Thank God I won this gunfight. That actually might have won us the game.
That was a huge one, and even that's still a super close game because they can hold it. And look, there's an enemy that's going to be over a middle too, so he killed this dude. But imagine if the guy in middle and this dude's alive, and then you have this one, and there's only 2 teammates, so that means this guy would have to win this gunfight. This guy, if he wins it, then, and there's this guy still alive, then it's going to be super hard to take over the hill, and that 40 seconds goes away super fast, especially on a brand new hill.
That actually might have won us the game.
And see, even there, look, the game's still not over. It's still going. Luckily, there's one less guy there, which is everything. That's huge. That last gunfight, that was everything. Everything for the final.